The contract that changed everything. Part 1, The betrayal that broke her. The perfect life shatters. Emma Clark had always believed in fairy tales. At 28, she was living one. A successful architect with her own firm, a beautiful apartment overlooking the city, and in just 5 days, she would marry Ryan Mitchell, the man she'd loved for 4 years. Her white dress hung in the closet like a promise. The honeymoon tickets to Santorini sat on her desk. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. Thursday afternoon, Emma left work early. She wanted to surprise Ryan at his place with his favorite Chinese takeout and maybe steal a few kisses before the wedding chaos consumed them completely. She had her own key to his apartment, a symbol of trust he'd given her a year ago. The elevator ride up to the 15th floor felt longer than usual. Her heart hummed with excitement. She balanced the takeout bags in one hand and slid the key into the lock with the other. The sound of betrayal. The door opened silently. That's when she heard it. Laughter. A woman's high-pitched giggle mixed with Ryan's deep voice. But it wasn't coming from the living room where she expected to find him watching sports. It came from the bedroom. Emma's feet moved on their own, carrying her down the familiar hallway. Each step felt like walking through water. The bedroom door stood slightly open. Through the crack, she saw them. Ryan. Her Ryan. Tangled in white sheets with someone whose face she knew better than her own reflection. Melissa. Her cousin. Her childhood best friend. The girl she'd shared secrets with, cried with, celebrated every milestone with. Ryan, what if Emma comes early? Melissa's voice dripped like honey, but there was no worry in it. Only playfulness. Ryan laughed, that same laugh Emma thought was meant only for her. Relax, babe. She's buried in wedding prep. Plus, she trusts me completely. Emma's sweet like that. A little naive, but sweet. Naive. The word hit Emma like a slap. After the wedding, we'll have to be more careful, Melissa purred, tracing patterns on Ryan's chest. But honestly, it's so exciting. You'll be married to her, and we'll keep this going. She'll never suspect a thing. Emma's hands went numb. The takeout bag slipped, crashing to the hardwood floor with a sound like thunder. Sweet and sour sauce splattered everywhere, painting the floor in dark red streaks that looked too much like blood. The confrontation. The bedroom went silent. Then movement. Fast and panicked. Ryan burst through the door, pulling on his pants, face flushed. Emma. I can explain. Explain? Emma's voice came out cold, a tone she didn't recognize as her own. Explain what exactly? How long you've been sleeping with my cousin? How you're planning to keep it going after we're married? Melissa appeared behind him, wrapped in Emma's favorite robe, the one she kept at Ryan's place. That detail somehow hurt more than it should. Emma, please, this isn't what it looks like, Melissa started, tears already forming. Always the actress. Really? Emma pulled out her phone. Her hands shook, but her voice stayed steady. Because it looks like my fiancé and my cousin have been having an affair. It looks like you plan to keep betraying me even after the wedding. She'd started recording the moment she heard their voices. Every word. Every disgusting detail. Ryan's face changed. Fear flickered across his features. You recorded us? Emma, that's evidence, Emma finished. That's what it's called. Evidence of who you really are. The breaking point. Melissa dropped the tears and stepped forward, face twisted with something ugly. You know what? I'm glad you found out. Yes, we've been together for 8 months. And it's real, Emma. Not like whatever boring thing you two have. Had, Emma corrected. Past tense. She looked at Ryan, really looked at him. How had she not seen it? The late nights he called work emergencies. The way he never wanted her to visit unannounced. The distance she'd blamed on wedding stress. We've been together 8 months, she said slowly, doing the math. That means you started this right after you proposed to me. Ryan reached for her. Emma, I do love you. This thing with Melissa, it just happened. Don't. Emma stepped back. Don't touch me. Don't say you love me. Love doesn't do this. She turned to leave, then paused. The wedding's off. Obviously. I'll have my lawyer contact you about the deposits. As for you, Melissa, lose my number. Lose my address. If I see you at any family gathering, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what you are. You wouldn't, Melissa hissed. Emma smiled, but it wasn't kind. Try me. The unexpected offer. She didn't remember leaving the apartment or getting to her car. The next clear memory was sitting in the parking lot of a coffee shop 3 blocks away, staring at her phone. The recording was still there. Proof that her life had been a lie. She should call her parents. Cancel the venue. Return gifts. But her fingers wouldn't move. All she could do was sit and breathe and try not to fall apart completely. Someone tapped on her window. Emma looked up to find a man in an expensive suit standing there, concern on his handsome face. She recognized him immediately. Dominic Cross. Ryan had pointed him out at a business mixer 2 months ago, calling him a ruthless competitor and someone to avoid. She rolled down the window. Can I help you? You look distressed, Dominic said simply. I was grabbing coffee and saw you. Are you all right? The genuine concern in his voice cracked something in Emma. Do I look all right? No, he admitted. You look like someone who just had the worst day of her life. Emma laughed, and it came out broken. That's accurate. Dominic glanced at the passenger seat. May I? She should say no. She didn't know this man. But Ryan had hated him, and right now, that felt like a recommendation. Sure. A dangerous proposal. Dominic settled into the passenger seat with easy grace. Up close, he was even more striking than Emma remembered. Dark hair, sharp jawline, eyes that seemed to see too much. I know who you are, he said. Emma Clark. Ryan Mitchell's fiancée. Talented architect. You designed the Riverside complex. Not his fiancée anymore, Emma heard herself say. As of about 20 minutes ago. Dominic's eyebrows rose. That recently? What happened? Maybe it was the shock. Maybe it was the way he listened without judgment. But Emma told him everything. The discovery. The recording. The betrayal. When she finished, Dominic sat quietly for a moment. That's brutal, he finally said. I'm sorry. You don't even know me. I know betrayal, Dominic replied. I know what it's like to trust someone completely and have them destroy that trust. Something in his voice made Emma look at him more carefully. There was old pain there, hidden behind the confident exterior. So what now? Dominic asked. You cancel the wedding, move on, let them win? Win? Emma frowned. What do you mean? They betrayed you, and they get to keep each other. They get to be happy while you pick up the pieces. Sounds like winning to me. Anger flared in Emma's chest. He was right. Ryan and Melissa would probably end up together. They'd face some family drama, but eventually, it would blow over. Meanwhile, she'd be the jilted bride, the woman who couldn't keep her man. What's the alternative? Emma asked bitterly. Dominic turned to face her fully. Marry me instead. Emma stared. What? A contract marriage, Dominic clarified. Completely legal. 1 year minimum. We present ourselves as a couple in public. In private, we live our own lives. You get revenge on Ryan and your cousin. I get. He paused. Let's just say it would benefit my business to appear settled and married. You're insane, Emma said. Probably, Dominic agreed. But think about it. Instead of being the abandoned bride, you're the woman who walked away and found someone better. Instead of Ryan winning, he watches you marry his biggest business rival. And you still get your wedding. It wouldn't be real. Does that matter? Ryan didn't give you real. He gave you lies wrapped in pretty words. At least this way, you know exactly what you're getting. The decision. Emma should have said no. She should have walked away from this crazy stranger and his impossible offer. But the image of Ryan and Melissa in that bed kept playing in her mind. The way they'd laughed about her. Called her naive. Planned to keep betraying her even after the vows. What would you get out of this? Emma asked. My board of directors thinks I'm too young and reckless to run the company, Dominic explained. They want to replace me with someone more stable, more traditional. A wife would help my case. Especially a respectable, talented architect like yourself. So we'd both be using each other. Honestly? Yes. But at least we're honest about it. Emma looked at her phone again. At the recording that proved her entire relationship had been a joke. At the engagement ring that suddenly felt like a shackle instead of a promise. If I agreed, she said slowly, what would the terms be? Dominic pulled out his phone. I'll have my lawyer draw up a contract. 1 year minimum. Public appearances as needed. Complete discretion. Separate bedrooms. And at the end, a clean divorce with financial compensation for your time. How much compensation? He named a figure that made Emma's eyes widen. It was more than her firm made in 2 years. That's too much. No, Dominic said. That's what your dignity is worth. That's what it costs to stand up to betrayal and win. Emma took a deep breath. This was crazy. Absolutely insane. But the alternative was going home, canceling everything, and watching Ryan and Melissa get exactly what they wanted. Okay, she said. Let's do it. The wedding that shocked everyone. Dominic moved fast. By midnight, they had a contract signed by both parties and their lawyers. By Friday morning, they had a marriage license. By Friday afternoon, they were standing in a courthouse with 2 witnesses Dominic had hired. The ceremony took 15 minutes. Emma wore a simple white dress she'd bought that morning. Dominic wore his business suit. There were no flowers, no music, no family. Just 2 strangers making a legal commitment for all the wrong reasons. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the judge said. Dominic looked at Emma. May I? She nodded. He kissed her softly, professionally. It meant nothing. And yet, it meant everything. They were married. The reveal. Emma posted the photo at exactly 6 p.m. Dominic and her standing outside the courthouse, marriage certificate visible, his arm around her waist. The caption was simple, when one door closes, a better one opens. Married today to an incredible man. Sometimes the universe has better plans than we do. She tagged Dominic. He posted his own version simultaneously. Then she turned off her phone and waited. She didn't have to wait long. Within an hour, her voicemail was full. Text messages poured in from friends, family, acquaintances. Her mother called 17 times. Ryan called 34 times. Melissa sent a string of messages that went from shock to anger to desperation. Emma ignored them all. Instead, she sat in Dominic's car as they drove to his penthouse apartment, watching the city lights blur past, and wondered what she'd just done. Regrets? Dominic asked, as if reading her mind. Ask me in a year, Emma replied. He smiled. Fair enough. Moving in. Dominic's penthouse was exactly what Emma expected. Modern, expensive, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Minimalist furniture. Expensive art. Everything perfectly placed. Your room is down this hall, Dominic said, leading her to a spacious bedroom with its own bathroom. I'm on the opposite side of the apartment. We share the kitchen and living room, but otherwise, complete privacy. What about, Emma hesitated. Public appearances? Dominic finished. We'll coordinate schedules. My assistant will contact you when we need to be seen together. Charity galas, business dinners, that sort of thing. Otherwise, you're free to live your life. It sounded so clinical. So businesslike. Emma should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt strangely hollow. Thank you, she said. For this. For everything. Dominic studied her for a moment. Emma, I know this isn't what you wanted. But I promise you, I'll never lie to you. Whatever this is, it's honest. Honest. Something Ryan had never been. That's all I can ask for, Emma said. The aftermath begins. That night, Emma finally listened to her voicemails. Her mother was confused and hurt. Her father was angry. Her sister demanded explanations. But it was Ryan's messages that made her hands shake. Emma, what the hell? Dominic Cross? Are you kidding me? This is some kind of revenge thing, right? It's not real. Call me. We need to talk. Then, Emma, please. I made a mistake. I'll end things with Melissa. We can fix this. Don't do this to us. Then, you married him to hurt me. I get it. But this is insane. He's using you. He's a shark. He'll destroy you. The last message was different. Quieter. Almost broken. I love you, Emma. I know I messed up. But I love you. Please don't do this. Come back to me. Emma deleted every message. She blocked Ryan's number. Blocked Melissa's too. Then she curled up in her new bed, in her fake husband's penthouse, and finally let herself cry. In the living room, Dominic heard the muffled sobs through the walls. He started toward her room, then stopped himself. She needed space. They had a contract, not a relationship. Boundaries were important. But as he listened to her grief, he felt something unexpected stir in his chest. Protectiveness. Anger at whoever had hurt her this badly. And something else, something dangerous that he couldn't quite name. This was supposed to be simple. A business arrangement. But as Dominic poured himself a drink and stared out at the city lights, he had the distinct feeling that he'd just made his life infinitely more complicated. And somewhere across town, Ryan Mitchell stared at the wedding photo and felt his world crumble, realizing too late what he'd lost and who he'd lost her to. Part 2, Playing the Perfect Wife. The morning after. Emma woke to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows and panic seizing her chest. Where was she? Then memory crashed back. The betrayal. The courthouse. The contract. She was married to Dominic Cross, a man she barely knew. She found him in the kitchen, already dressed in another expensive suit, reading news on his tablet while drinking coffee. He looked up when she entered. Good morning. Coffee? His tone was polite, distant. Please. Emma pulled her robe tighter. I should probably go to my apartment today. Get my things. Already handled, Dominic said, pouring her a cup. I had a moving service pack everything last night. Your boxes are in the guest bedroom. I took the liberty of having your mail forwarded here too. Emma blinked. You had my apartment packed? Without asking me? You're my wife now. You live here. Made sense to handle it efficiently. He said it so matter-of-factly, like he was discussing a business merger. Dominic, you can't just. I can, actually. It's in the contract. Cohabitation for the duration of our arrangement. He slid the tablet toward her. Also, we made the news. Business section and society pages. Emma looked at the screen. There they were, the courthouse photo splashed across multiple websites. Architect Emma Clark marries tech mogul Dominic Cross in surprise ceremony. Ryan Mitchell's ex-fiancée moves on fast with business rival. Great, Emma muttered. It's exactly what we wanted, Dominic reminded her. Maximum impact. Speaking of which, we have our first public appearance tonight. Tonight? Already? Charity gala. Black tie. All of Ryan's business circle will be there. Dominic's smile was sharp. Including Ryan himself. Preparing for battle. Emma spent the afternoon in a strange daze. Dominic had arranged for a stylist to come to the apartment, bringing an array of evening gowns. The woman, Sophia, was efficient and friendly. Mr. Cross said to make you look spectacular, Sophia said, holding up a deep emerald dress. This one, I think. With your coloring, you'll stop hearts. I just need to look appropriate, Emma protested. Honey, Sophia said, meeting her eyes in the mirror, appropriate is for people who want to blend in. You want to make a statement. Trust me. The emerald dress fit perfectly. Off-shoulder, elegant, sophisticated. Sophia styled Emma's dark hair in loose waves and applied makeup that made her eyes look enormous and mysterious. When Emma emerged from the bedroom that evening, Dominic looked up from his phone and went still. For the first time since she'd met him, she saw genuine surprise flash across his face. You look. He paused. Incredible. Thank you. Emma smoothed the dress, nervous. You look good too. That was an understatement. Dominic in a tuxedo was devastating. Dark, dangerous, and far too attractive for Emma's peace of mind. Ready for this? He asked, offering his arm. No, Emma admitted. But let's do it anyway. The gala. The grand ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and wealthy people. Emma felt eyes tracking them the moment they entered. Whispers followed in their wake like a tide. They're all talking about us, Emma murmured. Good, Dominic said. Let them talk. He kept his hand at the small of her back as they moved through the crowd. To everyone watching, they looked like a couple completely absorbed in each other. Only Emma knew how careful he was not to actually touch her skin, how his hand hovered just above making contact. Dominic. What a surprise to see you here. Emma turned to find an older couple approaching. The woman wore diamonds that probably cost more than Emma's car. Senator Wallace, Mrs. Wallace, Dominic said smoothly. May I introduce my wife, Emma? The word wife still felt foreign in Emma's ears. But she smiled and played her part, shaking hands, making small talk about her architecture firm. The Wallaces were charmed. As the evening progressed, Emma met more of Dominic's world. Business moguls. Politicians. Society elite. Everyone was curious about the sudden marriage. Everyone wanted to know how they met, how long they'd been dating, why the rush. Dominic handled every question with practiced ease. When you know, he'd say, looking at Emma with what seemed like genuine affection. Why wait? Face to face. Emma was at the bar getting champagne when she felt him approach. She didn't need to turn around to know it was Ryan. She could feel his presence like a storm cloud. Emma. She turned slowly, keeping her face neutral. Ryan. He looked terrible. Eyes bloodshot, face haggard. Good, Emma thought viciously. We need to talk, Ryan said urgently. This thing with Dominic, it's not real. I know you're just trying to hurt me. Actually, Emma interrupted, not everything is about you. Shocking, I know. Emma, please. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. But we can fix this. We were together for 4 years. That has to mean something. It did mean something, Emma said quietly. It meant I trusted you. I trusted Melissa. And you both destroyed that. So no, Ryan, we can't fix this. There's nothing left to fix. You don't love him, Ryan insisted. You can't. You married him to get back at me. Emma looked across the room to where Dominic stood talking with a group of executives. As if sensing her gaze, he looked over and gave her a small, reassuring nod. Maybe I did marry him for the wrong reasons, Emma admitted. But at least he's honest about what this is. At least he's never lied to me. Can you say the same? Ryan's face crumpled. I love you. You love control, Emma corrected. You love having someone who trusts you completely while you do whatever you want. That's not love, Ryan. That's ownership. Emma. This conversation is over. Emma picked up her champagne and walked away, heart pounding but head high. Melissa's scene. Emma was in the ladies' room touching up her lipstick when Melissa burst in, mascara already running. How could you? Melissa sobbed. You ruined everything. Ryan broke up with me because of you. Because of your petty revenge. Emma turned slowly. My revenge? Melissa, you slept with my fiancé for 8 months. You planned to keep sleeping with him after my wedding. I didn't ruin anything. You did that yourself. You were always so perfect, Melissa hissed. Perfect Emma with her perfect life. I was tired of living in your shadow. So you thought sleeping with my fiancé would fix that? Emma shook her head. You didn't hurt me to escape my shadow, Melissa. You did it because you're selfish and cruel. And now you get to live with that. I'm family, Melissa tried. You can't just cut me out. Watch me, Emma said coldly. We're done. Stay away from me, or I'll make sure every person in our family knows exactly what you did. Every single detail. Melissa's tears dried up, replaced by ugly hatred. Fine. But you and Dominic won't last. Everyone knows he's just using you to make himself look stable. Once he gets what he wants, he'll throw you away like trash. The words hit harder than Emma wanted to admit. Because wasn't that exactly what their contract said? 1 year, then a clean divorce? Maybe, Emma said quietly. But at least I'll see it coming. That's more than I can say about you and Ryan. Unexpected warmth. Emma escaped to the balcony, needing air and space. The city sprawled below, millions of lights against the darkness. She heard footsteps behind her. You okay? Dominic asked, joining her at the railing. Just needed a break from playing the happy wife. You're doing incredibly well, he said. Everyone in there believes we're madly in love. Good acting, Emma said bitterly. Is it? Dominic's voice was quiet. Acting? Emma looked at him, confused. What do you mean? Nothing. He shook his head. How was the conversation with Ryan? Predictable. He wants me back. He thinks I'm just trying to hurt him. And are you? Emma considered the question honestly. At first, yes. That's why I agreed to this. But now. She trailed off, unsure how to finish. Now? Dominic prompted. Now I think I was just trying to take back control of my life, Emma admitted. Ryan and Melissa made me feel powerless. Like I was just a prop in their story. Marrying you, even for fake reasons, it was the first choice I made for myself in a long time. Dominic was silent for a moment. For what it's worth, I don't think you're a prop. I think you're the strongest person in that ballroom. The sincerity in his voice made Emma's chest tighten. Thank you. That means more than you know. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the city. Emma found herself leaning slightly closer to him, drawn by the warmth and solid presence he offered. We should head back in, Dominic said finally, but he didn't move. Yeah, Emma agreed, but she didn't move either. Finally, Dominic offered his arm. Ready, wife? Ready, husband, Emma replied, and tried to ignore how natural that word was starting to feel. The drive home. The car ride back to the penthouse was quiet. Emma stared out the window, emotionally exhausted. The evening had been a success by all measures. They'd presented a united front. They'd handled Ryan and Melissa. They'd convinced everyone their marriage was real. So why did Emma feel so hollow? "You were amazing tonight," Dominic said, breaking the silence. "Just playing my part." "Emma." He waited until she looked at him. "It's okay to admit this is hard. You don't have to pretend with me." "Isn't that exactly what I'm supposed to do? Pretend?" "In public, yes. But when it's just us." He paused. "We can be honest." Emma laughed bitterly. "Honest? Dominic, our entire marriage is a lie." "The marriage license is real," he pointed out. "The contract is real. What we feel might be complicated, but it's real too." "What I feel?" Emma repeated. "And what do I feel, exactly?" Dominic pulled into the parking garage, cut the engine, and turned to face her. "You feel betrayed. Angry. Hurt. Maybe a little lost. And probably confused about why a fake marriage to a stranger feels safer than the real relationship you thought you had." Emma's throat tightened. He'd read her perfectly. "And what do you feel?" she asked quietly. Dominic's expression flickered, something vulnerable passing across his features before his usual controlled mask slipped back into place. "I feel." He paused. "Like this arrangement is getting more complicated than I planned." Late-night confessions. They rode the elevator in silence. But when they reached the penthouse, instead of retreating to separate corners, they both gravitated to the living room. Dominic poured 2 glasses of wine without asking. "Tell me something real," Emma said, accepting the glass. "Not the business mogul, not the contract husband. Something true about Dominic Cross." He sat across from her, studying his wine. "Why?" "Because I just spent the evening pretending to be madly in love with you, and I realized I don't actually know you at all. Seems like I should fix that." Dominic was quiet for so long, Emma thought he wouldn't answer. "Then, 3 years ago, I was engaged. Her name was Victoria. Our families had known each other forever. It seemed perfect on paper. What happened? She was sleeping with my business partner. For 2 years. They were planning to wait until after the wedding, then drain my accounts and run off together. I found out a week before the ceremony." Emma's eyes widened. "Dominic. So when you ask what I feel," he continued, "I feel like I understand exactly what you're going through. The betrayal. The doubt. The wondering if you can ever trust anyone again. Is that why you proposed this arrangement?" Emma asked. "Because you understand?" "Partly," he admitted. "But also because when I saw you in that parking lot, looking like your world had just ended, I saw myself 3 years ago.